Well, what's going on, everyone? My name is Brandon Haneline. Now, today we're going to be taking a look at the Jeep Wrangler JL body. We're going to be showing you how to remove and install a rear window glass. Now, there are several reasons that you would need to know this, so make sure you stick around. And now, we remove the back glass.
Better with the rear glass out.
Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, it feels very, very open, almost like you have the complete hardtop off, but we have a Sky One Touch.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started now. There are a couple reasons that we would need to replace this back glass. First being, it just got busted, okay? You're mowing the yard, rock comes up, hits the glass, busts the glass, a baseball goes through it. A lot of different reasons, okay? Second of all would be the actual heater grid. Let's say the heater grid is actually messed up and you have to replace the glass. Now, sometimes these tabs here break off and they are repairable. Some of them are, but if they are beyond repair, then that glass would need to be replaced. Now, I showed you in a previous video how to remove the actual Sky One Touch power top, the whole thing actually, and I'll leave that up in the top right corner. Now, having that said, a lot of people ask, can you remove the back glass? And I was really intrigued of why do we need to remove the back glass? Well, it is true, and I didn't realize that, but when you have the doors off and the back windows out, this back glass is closed, it actually creates a huge back pressure. You've got all this wind that is coming back in here and it's pressing on the glass, and it actually creates a vortex. It doesn't allow the actual air to flow through. A lot of people are wanting to remove the back glass. So today we're going to show you how to do that safely. So the first things we're going to do is we're going to kind of prep the glass itself so that it is safe to remove. Now, first thing you're going to need to do is we're going to have to disconnect some wiring. This wire goes to the rear wiper motor and the heated back glass grid. So if you just pop this out right here, really easy to pop out. Small connector, press this button, and this just pulls out, okay? Second thing we're gonna do is, this is the rear washer. Now, this is a little bit more interesting, this side. We don't have the same easy connector, so there's a few extra steps that we have to take. Now, the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this rear washer hose. Now, this just basically simply just pulls off, okay? Just pulls right off. Now, if you do have an older JL, this could get brittle at some point and this hose could crack. It's just a small rubber hose. Second thing we have to do is we have to remove this wire from this clip. So this is just pops right out there, okay? Very easy. Third thing is we have to remove this connector from the heating grid. Okay, the driver's side is connected in this connector, so there's no need to disconnect it. But here, we have to actually disconnect it from the grid. So, as you can see, this will move like this, okay? But what we need to do is just get your finger underneath it like this and just pop it off. Very easy to pop off, okay? It's just a connector here, just like that. Now, I do suggest you to be extra cautious with this. Do not use any screwdrivers or anything like that. Just use your hand to get it off. Nothing crazy. This tab could break off. If this tab does break off, it is on you. You need to, you can go to the hardware store and buy some liquid solder and solder that back on. Now, the next thing we need to do is remove these shocks right here. And what that's going to allow us to do is have a little more control over the glass. So it's not really under any pressure. As you can see right here, it's under pressure. We don't want that. We want to be able to handle the glass properly. Now, the way we remove these shocks is very simple. We're going to put a screwdriver in here and we're going to pop this clip is going to come out. Now, when this clip comes out, okay, the glass is going to hesitate to fall, so I'm going to hold on to the glass while I'm doing this.
Now, I want to make sure that I hold the rear glass in place in case it does decide to fall. And sure enough, it will. As you can see, it will come down by itself. Now, I want to go ahead and take the top part off, also completely remove the shock so that it doesn't damage the paint on the Jeep. So we're going to just pull that off. Now, remember, we still have one shock on, so this could be an issue by falling, so just don't let it fall. All right, as you can see there, now the glass is completely on me. So we're going to hold that there. I'm going to go ahead and take this other piece off. Very simple to take off. All right. Now the glass is in our control. Now that the glass is free in our hands, it is allowed to shut and open. There's no shocks holding it. We need to take these 4 bolts off right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now I'm going to show you the safe way to do this. Now we will need a 10 millimeter, and I will suggest to not use a ratcheting type of wrench because it's going to kind of take too long and you're going to get tired of holding the glass. Now we will need a 10 millimeter, and I do suggest that you use some type of electric impact for removal. I don't suggest it for tightening it back up, but for removal, it's going to allow us to get it off a little bit quicker. So we're going to take one off of each side. So we're going to, all right, so there's 1, 2. All right, we're going to take one off of each side. Now next, we're going to loosen this up. As you can see, the glass is kind of loose right now. So what we're going to do is you're going to come, you're just going to rest your head right here. Sounds crazy, but it works. Just rest your head on it, okay? Take the one bolt out, be steady. Take the other bolt out. And now we remove the back glass. We've got the rear window removed from the Sky One Touch power top. Now this is also for the hard top too, but the things that we have, we've got some bolts there that we need to make sure that we put up safely. It looks like they are all the same length. We don't have to worry about that. We got 2 shocks that we need to put over safely. Now we got all this stuff dangling. What do we do with this stuff? All right, so I'm gonna suggest on this driver's side, we're gonna just tuck this back in here. It may rattle around a little bit, but you know, the windows are off and shouldn't notice that too much. Now this here, we're gonna just pull this almost all the way out, okay? Now we're gonna tuck these inside the top here, so we're gonna just go in there like this. And do that. And then we're gonna take this and pop this back in. That's in there. Now the other one is still on the back glass. Now if you guys are wondering what this is an inverter that I did install. I was able to run the actual house and a lot of power tools and other things off of this. I'll leave that description up in the top right corner if you want to see that. I was able to power my house with this Jeep. Now I'm going to take a test drive to find out, does it actually allow the air to flow better with the rear glass out? And we're going to have the Sky One Touch top open. All right, let's go ahead and get all 4 windows down. Wouldn't it be cool if we had one button that made all 4 windows go down at the same time? Maybe I need to figure that out. Maybe we can program it into the auxiliary button. All right, so we've got the windows down. Cracking open the Sky One Touch.
Now I've got all 4 windows down. I've got the 2 rear side glasses out. I've got the Sky One Touch open, and I've got the rear back glass completely out of it. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it feels very, very open, almost like you have the complete hard top off, but we have a Sky One Touch. This really is a huge benefit to having the Sky One Touch. You're able to take that back glass out, really opens it up a lot. Now there's nowhere near as much wind that's blowing on me as it would be if that back glass was in there, but we are doing about 45 miles an hour, so let's hit the interstate and see what we got. Now, as we're getting on the interstate here, we're going to be picking up some speed, so it may be a little windy, but we're going to see if this rear glass will help us not to have so much Jeep hair. But you know, we don't really care. We're going about 60 miles an hour, and there's nowhere near the amount of turbulence that we would normally have if we got that rear glass in. Obviously, there is some turbulence. We've got all 4 windows down and the back glass and the top open. But I do really think that this helps out. It allows the air to flow from the top down, right out the back. It doesn't block it. Now, some of you might say, hey, why in the world would you remove the rear glass when you can just put it in the up position? Now, there's 2 issues I have with that. Is first, the 2 rear glass shocks there, if they do get weak, okay, you can do that, but if those shocks get weak and you hit a bump, the glass can actually come down and hit that third brake light housing, and it definitely wouldn't be a good thing. You don't want that rear glass busting on you while you're driving. And second thing is, when it's in the up position, it actually sits higher than the Sky One Touch. So any road debris, a rock, or anything like that could come up and hit that glass and could just shatter it. And you're definitely going to be watching a video then to replace the back glass. So I would advise not to keep it in that up position like that. Guys, if you enjoy this content and you like stuff like this, and make sure you give me a thumbs up and make sure you share this content with everyone you know, okay? So let's go ahead and get that rear glass installed, because the procedure to install it is a lot different than removal.
Installation of the glass is a little bit trickier than the removal, so make sure you follow these steps. First, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the bolts in the hinges, okay? But we're not going to tighten up the bolts. So we're going to start with 2. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing that we did earlier. We're going to literally rest this on our head. It's going to give us and we're going to just put 1 bolt in. Okay? Going to put the 1 bolt in, and we're going to start it by hand. That's all we're going to do. Just start it by hand. Then we're going to take the other side, and we're going to go ahead and start that by hand also. Okay? Very simple. All right. And we're going to go ahead and take the other 2. Start those by hand. So all 4 bolts we have started by hand. Now you want to make sure you start these by hand. Do not just put a drill on these and run these things in. I definitely do not recommend to do that. You could cross thread some of these. So just always make sure you start this stuff by hand first, okay? Now, we're not going to tighten those right now. The next step we're going to do is we're going to install the shocks, okay? The shocks are very, very easy to install. Literally, you don't have to do any clips or nothing. Just pop them right on there. Pop that right on. See how easy that was? Same thing with the other side. Make sure you have some support up here. Pop this on there. Pop it on there. Remember, the hinges are not tight yet, but the glass will stay up by itself. It won't come out. Now, once you've got the glass shocks installed, you can go ahead and tighten up these 4 bolts. Now, I will tell you this. You can go ahead and tighten them up with this, but don't tighten them all the way. We're going to finish it off with the hand ratchet. Just get them snug. Now we're going to double check these. We're not going to get them over tight. We're just going to get them nice and snug. Nice and snug. All right. Now, guys, I want to make sure you understand not to strip these out. Do not over tighten these. If you over tighten these and strip these threads out, you're going to have to replace this whole back assembly here, and I'm sure you don't want to do that, okay? So let's finish up the installation.
All right, hinges are tight. As you can see, they are in the same position. They just fall right into the same position there. Okay, they're in the same position. We've got the glass shocks on. Now we need to go ahead and reconnect our connectors. Let's go ahead and get this pulled out. And this right here is going to be pretty simple here on the driver's side. I think it is. Get out of there. All right, so we're just going to reconnect this. Just a simple click. That snaps back up in there. Now remember here, this went through the hole there, so we're going to snake this through. And we've got to snake this through. All right, so snake those 2 through there. Pop that in. Simple pop in. Now we're going to take this hose, simply just press it on there, and we're going to take this rear grid heater connector, and as you can see, we're just going to just press on there, and with our thumb, pop it on, no problem. We're going to put this right back in its place, right there, okay? All is well. Rear glass install completed. All right, now since I've showed you how to remove and install the rear glass, tell me what you think. I want you to comment down below. Will you be actually trying this or not? Just make sure that you don't strip those threads out here in these hinges here. That's what's important. We don't want to strip those threads out. And I don't think you will, as long as you start them by hand and don't over tighten them. Other than that, find a safe place to put your glass and enjoy it. So I hope you're smarter now than you were when you started this video. Have a great day, guys.